Starting to the bottom of the map, we have our Zerg player and the 1-0 lead against his opponent. It is for Team Startail.
Startail live.
In game number 2, he seems to be up against the Forge Expand of his opponent.
What is he laughing about?
It's live. He doesn't need a reason, you know that.
Like, there's no chat or anything for him to laugh about.
To the top, we have his opponent. This is the Protoss player.
MVP Super.
He's like, what if I Nidus him, like, over one base layer? Like, wouldn't that be funny? He's like, I won't do it, but, like, that would be funny. He's like, thinking to himself.
Hey, guys, the one thing that you have to know about Life is that Life is just weird. In a cool way, but he's still weird. Like, I still remember, like, when I was at the Startail house and I was interviewing the team, and we were just, it was for a documentary, and we were all sitting, like, on the couch, and I was asking them a question, and we had, like, 4 players of Startail sitting there, and then we had Life as well. He just joined Startail, and I was talking a little about it. And how it would go is I would ask the question to the player at one end of the couch, and then they would just go through the ranks and answer the same question and talk a little bit about it. And each player would just basically agree on what the other said and would add a few things. Up to the point where Life started. Because Life was always saying the exact opposite of what everyone else said. And everyone was just laughing at him, and nobody really could believe what he was saying there. So the kid sometimes is just a little bit weird. When he's at the studio, he's usually very quiet, super polite, always up for a joke, but it's just a little bit weird, and sometimes he has these moments where he seems to smile and laugh about something and nobody else gets it. He just has his very, very own, his own mindset there. It's like pretty cool. So yeah. Life is very, very unique, and that shows in situations like the one that we just saw.
Absolutely. And in situations like the one we see now, where he goes double hatch before pool, and we'll get away with it, as it is the Nexus first build. On the other hand,
there could be a cannon.
If he had a probe out, he could cannon if he saw it, but he doesn't have a probe out.
He actually can't, because there is an Overlord at the 3rd base, and that is something that I love. And the reason is quite simple. It's kind of a no-brainer. You go for a very greedy build, and you make sure that you can't get cannoned. But most Zergs will be so super greedy that they say, I go double hatch before pool, and I just don't scout what's happening around my 2nd or my 3rd base. Life doesn't do that. He's one of the few that will actually just stick it out and put an Overlord there. And that is pretty cool, because that gives him options. The options to cancel, the option to pull drones over once he sees a probe, and he can just play a more reactionary game. It's surprising how many Zerg players will go for a double hatch before pool play and then not scout around their bases.
Yeah. It's actually a little bit shocking.
It's just like you want to have those overlords at the top, you know? You want to have them there for the scouting information. But you have to make a choice, and I feel this is taking it just one step too far.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Well, as it is, there's no cannoning anyways, but Life playing it safe. The core goes down, and we're going to find out in just a second whether or not Super is going Stargate or Stargate, because actually it's not really much of a... It's not much variety these days when this matchup comes out. There's the Stargate. And I still have the habit of saying, well, it's going to be Stargate or Robo, but it's actually never Robo anymore. If it is a Robo, it's like, oh, whoa, what is he doing? But actually taking his gas with his natural and in his main base, the first 2.
I mean, as is in the game, getting away with that build and your opponent not even knowing about it doesn't get a whole lot better than that.
Yeah, I mean, Super hasn't scouted at all, and he can't scout anymore because he doesn't have any probe kits on the map, and he doesn't have a sentry to hallucinate, so he's going to scout with his Phoenix first, which is going to be so late. And by that point, it's already too late to pressure.
He needs to find out what's happening here. I mean, looking at this, Live knows, of course, about what's going on in the map. He has Zerglings everywhere, he controls the Zanaga watchtowers, he has Overlords in position, he saw that there's no probe out on the map anymore, and he got away with one of the most greediest builds in the book against a Protoss player who currently has no idea what's happening. He can't even make plans to just pressure Life, to kind of do something about what he just saw and just punish him for that. So he will scout with that Phoenix actually for the first time what's happening, and by this time it's already too late to do anything about it. Life is currently looking at 57 harvesters on 3 bases, and if you just have a quick look at the income that we see to the top right, you see that he is miles ahead of his opponent in income. By 600 per minute, Life for a second supply box here, but he has his lair tech nearly completed, Zergling speed has started, so Life is definitely going to call the shots in, let's say, like 3 to 4 minutes in this game.
Yeah. Well, I think that the thing about Life is that he is, like you said, he's the guy who's always running Zerglings left and right, and he gets out of control. He really explodes when he gets his production up. But on this map, it's going to be very hard for Super to take a third base. He does start it now. Well, with Life already being powered up and ready to go, it's going to be super easy for him to actually just be aggressive soon, in whichever way he chooses to be. Most likely Hydralisk. He sees the base now, and there's the Hydralisk then going down as I speak. So
26 Zerglings, and with Speedlings and Hydras, he can go down on that third. He was also in a position where he can just simply take his fourth base. I mean, there's nothing preventing him from really taking that fourth. We have 3 warp gates in the game. So it's not like there's suddenly going to be a lot of production. But you can see that the speed upgrade is now being reset for the Hydralisk instead of the range upgrade. And that kind of indicates that he wants to be aggressive. And look at those Zerglings just streaming to the top right. That base isn't done just yet. Yes, there are force fields. A cannon was going to be there in just a few. But there are a lot more Zerglings coming in than only that. And he's just testing the waters here, even just having a quick poke at the Nacho.
Oh my god. Oh, that was close. Okay. I thought that was an open wall. It was not.
Guess what's going to happen as soon as those force fields are gone?
Well, I don't need to guess. We're watching it right now. Zlings going in, but good force fields actually from Super that eventually are going to be gone.
Well, but here we go. Now he takes down the Sentry and also the Zealots, and he is already losing momentum while now the Hydralisks are being built, and this is just the second step. This is just him draining the energy from the Sentries and making sure that there are not a whole lot, and once that is the case, then the Hydralisks will appear. Yes, there's a Colossus on the way, but is one Colossus going to change that battle? No. The Photon Overcharge, that might change something here. But the Hydralisks are moving in right now, and that cannon, for example, beautifully shielded by the buildings, is going to be gone in a second.
Yep. Hydra's taking out the Zealots here. Any Zealots on warp and any gateway units he finds. He's actually targeting the Nexus now.
The Colossus is running away instead of going to the third base. He's like, yeah, no, screw that. I'm not going down there.
He's like, I don't think so. And actually, he holds.
Gateways are going down for now. Tries to snipe those Phoenixes, and those alone is something that he should try to keep.
And you know what? Actually, with the Colossus here, I think he's going to be fine.
But Life can still take that fourth. Ooh, nice force field. Super with really, really nice control here on the force field, and also down the Phoenixes that Life didn't take out so far.
What are these doing? I mean, I don't think this is a good idea.
He needs to focus those Phoenixes. I cannot believe that he attacks the Zealots instead.
Yeah, this is...
the Phoenixes can just chase him down and lift.
That was a weird engagement there. I think he should have tried to move back. Like, these Hydras, I think, are still just rallied. Is he really going to continue to attack here? Against now 2 Colossi, the second overcharge is ready to go.
He should at least drop the 4.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this is not...
He can still do damage here, but he needs a bit more than that. I'm not quite sure if range is done for the Hydralisk. I think it is not.
Yeah, not yet. That was a big
If you have the range upgrade for the Hydralisk, you are on the same range as a Colossus without. So you can work against them a little bit better. More and more Zerglings coming in, and he goes for the Spire now. A transition into Mutalisk is definitely going to help him a lot. This is something that can completely blindside a Protoss and win the game for you. But he's also taking a risk with that since he doesn't get the 4th base, so he's really relying on this doing damage.
Yeah, he really is, and actually he's starting to push through a little bit here.
Yeah, there's not a lot of energy left. It's just like he's trying to wear him down again.
Yeah, but it doesn't work. I mean, it doesn't do the damage he's wanting to do. I don't say it doesn't work at all, but
consider this: he's mostly building Zerglings right now, so he saves gas. And once the Spire is completed, he will use the gas to make Mutalisk, and that will blindside Super.
Yeah,
and that's
actually
the problem.
He's already taken some serious hits here on his Colossi, and not quite enough DPS to finish them down.
There are 3 Colossi, it's too much, but he's only producing Zerglings. He stopped producing Hydralisk because he wants to save the gas. He wants to occupy him. He wants to just make sure that Super is so focused on that 3rd base that he never is in a position where he sees what's coming next. And Life is gambling a little bit on this. He's taking the 4th behind it, but he really wants to do damage with the Mutalisks now. And the switch is starting. He's going into 7 as we speak. Blink is not completed. But I love that Super is also trying to cover his bases here, going into the Blink upgrade, going into additional Stalkers, since he expects a transition.
Yep. Nice early run bys here again from Life, though. This is what we talked about before. This is what we expect to see from him. Going for actually attacking the natural, too.
It's just the aggression that Life always has. He's always trying to be everywhere at once. He was aiming for the 3rd base, but now he realized that the taking it down is not going to be as easy as he was hoping for. And the problem for him really being, if the Mutalisks do not do damage, then a move out by Super is going to put him in a very bad spot.
But he's actually moving out right now. And that Colossus is walking in a weird direction, but I guess that's how the Colossus has to come out of the robotics, as it turns out. I'm just looking at it on the main map now, but here come the mutas, right towards the main, 15 of them.
Yep.
And there's no answer, there's no cannons. The blink is not nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, and this is what a complete bitch slap looks like. But the problem still being, as I said earlier, a straight-up fight is difficult for Life to win. This is why Super moves out. And I have to admit that I'm really impressed by what Super did in this game, because the setup for Life was amazing. The double hatch before pool and everything that he had, going into such an aggressive build, that is something that most Protoss players will not hold, and Super held that. And now you see that exactly that was the case. The Mutalisk hit him, but the army that he had was already too strong, and Life realized, I cannot defeat what you have. I lost too much earlier. But an impressive play by the Protoss here. With the setup that Life had, holding this aggression and throwing him back, that is really, really impressive. Most Protoss players will die to a Zergling, to a Zerg that goes for Zerglings and Hydras after such a great start in the game.
Yeah, he somehow held it. It was pretty impressive. The micro was good. But even with his sentries against the Zerglings, you know, his force fields were perfect, and they also minimized the surface area for the Zerglings to attack with having the gateways to their back, and the cannon was there, and didn't use his photon overcharge until the last second. He had 2 of them that he could use. Really, really nice control there.
I really thought at the beginning, when I saw the attack starting for Life, that he would be able to take that third down, or at least kill a lot more than he did. And he lost a little bit too much, and it was also Phoenix is not taken out, and suddenly you can chase down Hydralisks one by one. You have the army there. These small things, it's just what Super did right, and where Life could have done things a little bit better. An impressive performance here by the Protoss player. I really like that game.
Yeah, really well played.
Well, game number 3 is going to come up next. Life still has a very big smirk on his face. A Derelict Watcher is going to be the next map. And that's going to be difficult for Super, I feel.
Every time I look at Life, all I do is think about the weird hand gesture that he does with his cheeks and his mouth. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Why does he do that? We figured it out last time, right? But
it's the scream. He wants to emulate a picture. He's probably just slapping his cheeks because he wants to wake up.
Maybe so. Anyways, going into game number 3 here, Derelict Watcher, TE. Life versus Super, only one of them going to Code S. Who is it going to be? It's the final map, WCS Challenger League.